back, baby! Chiefs submitted the Highlanders 26-23 at Forsyth Barr under the dome. It's the dome. Stadium is coming. It's a dome. You get it. If you're new here, my name is Ndegz, Chiefs fan since 2007, and I have watched Super Rugby since then. This is the 30th year of Super Rugby, so I was like, you know what? I need to make this year special. To be honest, last year I wanted to really do Super Rugby, but I just didn't have time. So this year I'm going to try and cover like the key games. I'm not going to try and I won't do all of them because like yesterday the Hurricanes just went crazy on Moana Pacifica. Like certain games I'll just be like, yeah. But this one was a special one. This one is, and it's not a coincidence that the first Super Rugby recap is by my team, my Chiefs. So I feel like the turning point for this game was that break by Josh Lord. Because at that point, we were 14-7 up. So now we have the Super Rugby website is giving you all these data. And there's a timeline so you can check out what happened. I believe they've been doing this for a bit, but they're just adding a bit more data and stats for you to use for your liking or analysis if you want. So as you can see here, they scored fast. We scored 2 in a row, and then we made before halftime. Then they scored their 2 penalties, and then at that point is when they got the yellow card. And just after that yellow card, just before that yellow card, everything was just going in their favor. Lasanga, the guy who came off the bench, the number 20, was incredibly special. His first play was literally getting a turnover off our own kickoff, and he even got a try at the end of the game. Like, he was super, super impressive. And he epitomized that comeback in those first few minutes. And at that point, they made the game 14-13. But I'm going ahead of myself. No, I was saying that because of the turning point, Josh Lord. Yes, let's just go through the game as it started. Highlanders played the game quite well, in my opinion. They won a penalty from kickoff, literally. And I think this is one thing that's going to be a point of interest in the video review this week. Our kickoff reception was not great this entire game. Our recovery from high balls, our kicking especially, Teni na nice eturo. I will come to you. So yeah, Highlanders kick the ball, they kick off, and then they win the penalty from. No, wait, did we kick off or did they kick off? Yes, they kicked off. Then I'm confused. No, we kicked off. Then they win the penalty from not rolling. Then a few seconds later, they win a free kick, accidental offside. And then they take it quickly. And Jonah scores in the corner. Tangitao, and who's this number 8? There was the number 8 for the Highlanders. I need to get his name. Lucas Casey, who actually came off at halftime. He was super impressive. Like, the way they combined there with Tangitao to create the try and create the space and then create the try for Nareki to score was really good. 7-0 up. Cam Miller was on point. His kicking was really good. And I feel like if he was on the field for the last few minutes, he would have at least converted the last 2 and it would have been an interesting game. Or they would have won the game because they lost by 3 points. Anyway, we had a good response. 4 minutes later, our forwards carried so well. I need to give a shout out to all our forwards. Especially the front 3. We have Jared Prophet, George Dyer, and of course Samisoni Takiao. Like, the way they were just carrying the ball, going into contact. The first few, like, they had to set the tempo. The thing with the Highlanders is, if you don't match their energy and their tempo, they can run you out of the park. Because it gets to a point where they have a really talented backline. Honestly, for me, I feel like the Highlanders have one of the best backlines. From Fakatava at 9, Camila at 10, Jonah Nareki at 11, Tavanawai at 12, Jonah Low, Tangitao, and Ratumai Tavuki Nipkins. Like, they have everything. They have players who can kick, they have pace, they have size, they have a center who won the most turnovers and beat the most defenders last season, which I don't think has ever been done in rugby. Those stats are for a 7 and a winger, but they happened in a 12. And he carries the ball into contact like a proper big man, yeah? So, for me, I feel like this Highlanders team, their backline is super, super, super one of the best backlines. But then if you just manage to hit them hard and go at them with their forwards, then the backline doesn't really come into the game. Again, it all boils down to rugby being a game of forwards. So if your forwards, if your scrums are weak, if your lineouts are weak, you will never have great platform to launch your attacks. Like it'll just never be the same, you know. So the response we had, 7 minute, the 7 minutes is when we scored. No, we started getting it started like really coming after them. Um, there were nice carries from Luke Jacobson and Samisoni Takiao, especially. Those two were really, really, really going after the Highlanders. And we got over the advantage line and we have managed to win a penalty which went to the corner, and Samisoni, I think, scored. And there was something interesting in how we set up those lineouts, because we had backs in the line. We had Queen Tupaya up front in the lineout, and we had Leroy Carter at the back always, which was very interesting. And then even just as they were mauling their way to the line, Josh Jacob just joins, and it becomes a really strong. We just add more numbers, you know. In as much as you're trying as a defense, you're trying to keep your backs off the line out or off the maul, so that in case we go wide, you defend them. We just happen to have more numbers, and at some point, you just realize like this ball is not going to the backs. Then it was very unfortunate that Jerome had to come off. Where is he? Jerome Brown. So Jerome Brown did one thing and was subbed off. So if you guys haven't watched, if you've not watched Super Rugby, we now have these mouth guards that can sense impact to the head, right? So it sends information back to the match doctor. So each match has a doctor, and he's monitoring, or she's monitoring constantly, the impacts that are coming to the head. So he wins the turnover of who had hit the Tava Nawa, weirdly enough. And then immediately he gets the ball, penalty is called, he's told, yo, go for a HIA test. And obviously he failed the test. And Simon Parker came on, who also had a very, very solid game. Played 45 minutes, basically, and was just super in our win today. Then, Jacobson, Boshier, again, turnover. It was a Boshier tackle on, who was it? I can't remember who it was. But then we get the line out, then they get a free kick. We were just conceding some really dumb penalties and free kicks, to be honest. And the new law this season is that any accidental offside or a rack delay immediately is a free kick. So that's why you'll see a lot more free kicks in Super Rugby this season. Then our kicking. Nanai Seturo. First of all, I need to come to this kicking. So, John Anareki and Cam Miller both had 8 kicks. Fakatava 7 kicks, scrum half, box kicks, understandable. Ratumaitavuki Nipkins had 4. Tangi Tao had 3. Seturo had 7. But let me tell you, those 7 were the Nanai Seturo. And the thing is, I feel like he has to play at 15. That's not his strongest position, obviously. But then because of players that are missing and Tomo Filau just bringing something different, he has a bit more size. For his lankiness, you expect him to be a bit better on the high ball, but he wasn't that great. Our chases were just not it. And I think that was a tactical ploy to kick into space rather than kick contestable kicks. Our kicks were not contestable at all. At no point was I... In fact, the first contestable kick, I think, was in the 72nd minute or something crazy like that. And it was... When the game's basically won, we were 4 tries to 1 up with a bonus point. So it wasn't like really much was at stake. But still, you expect a lot better from the kicking. And the way Josh Jacob was kicking off the tee, and even just his kicks in general, apart from the one which led to the Tangi Tao try. I don't know, man. If Dima comes back, do you play him at 15? Or do you take Josh Jacob at 15? Like, I don't know. Because considering the All Blacks have played D-Mac at 15 a lot, at 10 a lot the last year, you'd want to keep him playing their continuity, right? But even then for us, he plays at 10 and then at some point switches to 15. So then what does Josh Jacob do? Because I feel like the first 2 games he has proven to me that he's a lot more mature, a lot more comfortable in that 10 jersey, and he's playing with just a little more confidence, and even the way that he's striking the ball is really really impressive. So I don't know. I don't know. When Dima comes back, I don't know what happens. Then obviously we scored our second try off Highlanders. Oh yeah. This was the Queen Tupaya quick tap. Like it was that guy. I don't even know what he was thinking. So Highlanders have the ball. They win a penalty just outside our five. Then they take a quick tap. Fakatava, he's just so quick with this moment. And then the cross kick goes to who was there? Number 7. I think it was Sean Withy. And as he's trying to put the ball down, he misses it. Queen Tupaya gets the ball quick, like because it's a 22, not a 22, it's a goal line dropout. Quick goal line dropout, gets the ball, and then he fakes like he's going to pass, then finally passes it, similar to what Josh Lord did with Tupovai before our boy John Anariki was given the sin bin, and then gets the ball to my guy, Leroy Carter. It was Leroy, right? Yeah, it was Leroy who scored. Then Leroy scores in the corner. At that point, it's like, these were two instances where we were totally under pressure. This one, when we made it 14-7, and when it was 14-13. And I was just like, we just hung in there long enough to make it count when we needed it most. So yeah, I think Leroy Carter had a good game. First game for his first game of the season. I think he was good. Another interesting thing that our coach John O'Gibbs did today was actually bringing Emoni Narawa in for Queen Tupaya, and Narawa ended up playing the rest of the game at 13, and he had great moments, especially defensively. I was quite impressed with how he shut down Jonah Nareki. There was one point where Jonah always does this thing where he comes at you and then he fakes like he's going to run at you, and then he just does one step, like one step, right foot, left foot, he's gone. And Emoni Narawa read it perfectly, and I was like, yo, maybe there's a future here. But I don't know. I don't think he can start a game there. Maybe to close off a game, especially defensively, because he's very good at defending that first 10 meters, yeah? And being a winger, it always translates to playing 13, especially defending. And if you're playing with a drift defense, you saw what has happened with Rico Ioane. It just happens. Ben Smith, same thing. He could play 13, and then you could just take him to the 14 and 11 at times. Well, maybe 14. But because of having the experience of playing at winger and playing at 13, you kind of defend those channels quite well. Yeah. Then honestly, when we scored to make it 21, Samisone's try, it was Simon Parker actually had scored, but then they said that there was a knock on the goal line, which was right. I'm very impressed by the referee, Angus Maybe. I think that's his name. Angus Maybe, yeah. Very, very good. He was quite consistent, especially off those kicks that come, like the kick comes and then, or someone is jumping to catch the ball, or even if it's a pass and you touch them in the air. Technically, you can give it either way, but he was consistent with it. He gave it all the time. He gave the penalty all the time. So, good consistency from the refereeing. I need to give him a shout out for that. And as I'm watching the Blues do some magic here against the Force. Yeah, so that try was disallowed. Then Samisone obviously scores just after Jonah Nareki comes from the line, from the sin bin. The Highlanders did so well to not get a yellow card to not concede any points in the yellow card period. So then Samisone obviously gets the third try of the game, his second of the game. It was a really poor line out. And actually, this line out came about because Xavier Rowe, we were really attacking on that left channel, the right channel. And then Xavier Rowe gets the ball and kicks it through, and they have to throw a line out in their own 5. And from last week, one of the biggest takeaways from the game against the Crusaders was their lineouts. They really need to work on their lineouts. And I think this was just you understanding the game state and going after a weakness, right? Or something that was a weakness in the first game. So forcing them to take a lineout in their own, and the fact that it was just barely contested, like that's just great. But they're trying to be cute with it, and then Samisoni scores. And then obviously Kellen Boshier goes and scores our 4th try. Yeah, kickoff restarts, man, were really, really poor. There was one where Akoi went for the ball and then missed it completely, and then Leroy Carter knocks it on, and then all of a sudden we're under pressure. And we were lucky to score 5 minutes after that just from great defense. Our defense has been really good. I've been a fan of our defense. Then obviously Highlanders make it interesting in the second half because they scored the try again through Tangitao, Josh Jacob. I don't know what Josh Jacob was. I get it. It was like he was kicking away, but the kick was so much into space. And the thing is, you can't kick it into space and then Tangitao has that much. Literally, there was like only 3 players on the wing and 2 are forwards. Like, that's just easy pickings for such a guy. That guy is quick, man. Like, he is insane. I was debating having him in my fantasy, but ended up going with Jorgensen. So not a bad pick, especially because he scored 2 tries yesterday. And then finally, Lasanga got the last try. And Pasitoa misses the conversion. He also missed the conversion on the last one, and the game ended 26-23. And that is how we go 2-0. We have yet to play a home game. Those are 2 away games. We've now played the Blues and we played the Highlanders. Wins in both. I'm happy. Let's go back home. I can't wait to hear our cowbells. And yeah, let's get into it. We're currently second, I think, behind the Waratahs, because Waratahs have won their first 2 games with bonus points against the Force last week and yesterday against Fiji and Drua, I want to say. I believe that's who they played. But yeah, they're looking good as well. Really, really happy for them. Pete Samu is back in Super Rugby. Really good. In fact, I need to make a whole video on the guys who are back. Pete Samu is back for the Waratahs. Ngani Laumape is back for Moana Pacifica. Leicester Fainganuku is back at the Crusaders. I've mentioned Pete Samu. So, like, there's just these names coming back, and I just love it. Just love it. Before I go, I need to give a big I was going to say shout outs. Yes, I'll give a shout out to Leo Ta'avao. Leo Ta'avao is the son of Angus Ta'avao, who tragically passed away this week. And Gus, we're with you, former chief, current Highlander. Like, you have just been such an amazing person amazing personality in just Super Rugby. He also works for Sky, so he normally does a bit of the Sky broadcast, and that's where the personality shines, because you rarely see these people speaking in front of a camera, and the guy is talented. But yeah, condolences to you and your family, and yeah, man, we're together. Shout out to Gus, shout out to Leo. Peace.